What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode. I'm so grateful that you're here. It is Dwarfism Awareness Month, and I want to talk about the Liliput Troupe. Now, the Liliput Troupe, who are they? The Ovici family. Now, forgive me if I'm saying this incorrectly. Ovici. They made up of 12 members from the ages of 15 months all the way to 58 years. They lived in northern Transylvania, and they're made up of 7 little people, and the rest were average. This family was quite unique because what they did for a living, they played instruments. They put on their own little family band. They were the first Partridge Family. The average size family members handled everything backstage, tickets, seating, all that good jazz. Now, upon looking at the Liliput Troupe, they look like they could possibly be pseudo, possibly cartilage hair, possibly acro. That's right, there are little people that have very similar features that kind of resemble the same type of little person. But after doing further research, this is a family of 7 Pseudoachondroplasia members. They're around the height of 3 feet tall, and they used children's instruments so that they were able to properly use all of their instruments that they played, which is interesting to me because a lot of little people use adult instruments and are still able to use them properly, but to each his own. Now, this was a Jewish family that was living in a very bad time in our history that a lot of people don't talk about. I find it very interesting that this Jewish family during the Holocaust was able to survive for a very long time without being caught. In May of 1944, on May 12th, they were caught and sent to the Auschwitz concentration camp. Now, at the Auschwitz concentration camp, here is where it gets a little sticky, okay? A man under Hitler named Dr. Joseph Mengele. And if I'm saying that incorrectly, good, because he doesn't deserve any kind of pride or love or any of that. But Dr. Joseph Mengele had a fascination with 2 types of people. What are those 2 types of people, you ask? 2 types of people that he was interested in were identical twins and little people. He found that there was something magical, superhero, undefeatable. He felt like there was a superpower within these types of genetic mutations that he had to figure out what was happening. He had to think there was a possibility that this could be the cure-all. They were not killed at this concentration camp. They were actually put aside for testing. Even when they were in the worst of worst situations, they were still performing in the camp. They knew that not only were they making themselves feel better and feel more at home and at peace, but they were also helping everyone that was in this concentration camp with them. When you're around music, you're around joy, and you're around good energy, and not only were they changing that energy for themselves, but they were helping the other people in this concentration camp. What kind of tests, you ask? It just gets worse. Here's where it gets unfortunate. They would extract bone marrow, they would extract blood, and way more than you should at your height or weight. They would then proceed with making you have intercourse with other people that had different diseases, gonorrhea, syphilis. These are just a few of the things that they would make this family do in order to see if they had these supernatural powers that Dr. Mengele believed not only little people had, but also twins. They went through this on a weekly basis for almost an entire year. It wasn't until January of 1945 that they were rescued from the camp. Picture this experience and being in this environment for 1 year of your life. Some days you felt like maybe death is a better option. I could feel that in reading In Our Hearts We Were Giants. And In Our Hearts We Were Giants basically tells you about this Liliput Troupe. And I remember reading this book on the plane and just crying profusely and not having enough tissue. And just using my sleeve, and I was just a mess. I truly appreciate things like this book. With all of that horror, they were actually rescued. They were saved. On January 1945, they were saved. And where did they go? Did they go back home? Now, there wasn't really a home for them in Romania and Transylvania. There wasn't really a home that they said, we feel safe. So they traveled and actually settled in Israel. They kept performing. They kept performing as a family and traveling as a family. And I felt like that was so powerful and special and unique. And who knew that they would go on to do this for the next 10 years before they decided to retire. I love this family. I want to know more about this family. If you know any facts or any details, please put it in the comments below.